the last decade, racing games have been pretty shit. And don't get me wrong, there's some exceptions and some exemptions from that in the last decade. Don't get me wrong, some of the best racing games ever released have been released in the last decade. But for the majority of them, most of them have been pretty shite. Now, I'm not talking about every single game, and I'm not talking about a specific game. I'm not talking about things. I'm just talking about, in general, overall, racing games this generation and the end of the last generation have been pretty wank. If you compare it to some of your all-time favorites, well, your all-time favorites are obviously the Need for Speeds and the Midnight Clubs, and, you know, the ones that everybody loves. And there's a few reasons as to why I believe people most attached to those games. And again, you could say over and over again that it's nostalgia that basically keeps us hooked on those games, which obviously it is. But at the end of the day, those games also have more content. I don't know what it is, but a lot of games recently, mostly racing games I would say, have toned it back in content. Now, I understand that we're in an age in where graphics is king. The only reason someone will buy a game for the sole reason that the graphics are good. Literally. The amount of comments I see on The Crew and the amount of comments I see on basically any game that's like, say, a year old now will say, oh, the graphics are bad, that game's bad, the graphics are bad. And it's kind of sad. And it's really weird. Like, I looked at, for example, like Ubisoft, when they launched the Crew's beta, they had a big questionnaire for people to fill out after the beta. And you would basically select an option to say which is the best, like, what would you like to see improved the most? And people said the graphics, not the physics, which a lot of people aren't really keen on. Like, at the time, it was pretty all over the place with the physics. It got better over time, but it was still kind of all over the place. Not even close. Physics wasn't near the top. It was in like the bottom selection. It was graphics, and that's kind of sad, because that literally just resembles of what we need to do in this day and age to sell a game, and that's just have pretty graphics, which is, well, it's pretty shitty in my opinion. But why are racing games bad? The graphics aren't the reason the racing games are bad. Let's not put it that way, because you can very clearly have a game with brilliant graphics and also be really fun. Because I mean, in the old times, 2005, Most Wanted 2005 was a damn good looking game for its time, especially when you got onto the 2006 Xbox version, Xbox 360. Oh my god, that thing was beautiful. But if you go back to those games, there's something missing in those games then that isn't really here now. And I can't put my finger on one specific thing. It feels more like a combination of things. And I've spoken about this time and time again. It's progression is one of them. I remember buying a game on PS2, putting it in, and I knew that was going to last me about a month. Now, granted, I was pretty shit at games. I am now. But the game has been made easier. Everybody knows this. But a lot of people still like to play their games for longer. Games now, you know, it's become rather than just a little kids thing, it's become more of like a mainstream entertainment thing, more and more so over the years. And understand that they've got to try and adapt it so that people that don't necessarily play games often can still play it. But at the same time, there's an easy way to combine that. You have different ends of the scale. When I'm talking racing games, let's say right at the beginning, the very, like, this is made for literally anybody can pick up and play the game. This would be Forza. And this is slightly a complaint, but also not. It's a complaint you've heard me talk about a million times before, but they give you access to everything very, very quickly. Now, that suits some people that don't play games very often. But you forget that the people that kind of like cars are very, like, usually dedicated people. I would say the majority of people that buy a racing game are very dedicated. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still going to be some people that pick up a racing game because people, in general, think cars are cool. Cars are fucking cool, are they not? But the majority of the long-term players will be people that love cars, and they will keep playing this game. Because, let's face it, there's like 2 or 3 racing games a year, and 2 of them are usually pretty shit, like shitter than the other one, like, and that one's still pretty shit, you know. It's kind of weird, isn't it? And the thing that frustrates me the most is that when a game does try to do something new or innovate or be lengthy or something like that, it gets shat on every time. And that's kind of weird. For example, The Crew, again, the graphics weren't amazing. They improved the graphics upon request of the people that played and bought the game. but people still shit all over the game for the graphics. Like, there's no, the only complaints I hear about the crew are the graphics and the physics. And the people that complain about the physics have either never played it and is like, or haven't played it since the updates happened, which was like over a year ago, before Wild Run. So, like, if you know, give things a chance. If you give these things a chance, it gives them basically money to do more bigger things. And even if you do not like it in the end, if you tried and you didn't like it, that's good. Thank you so much for trying that new game. That game that tried to do something a little bit different than the normal mold. It means that developers of your favorite game will try harder to compete with that game because it sold pretty well. Try and add features in to that game to basically boost it up again, to make it more fierce competition. That's the thing that racing games miss the most. Because there's so little of them, I think, there's less competition. The more competition, the better for us in general, okay? For example, if there wasn't this constant iPhone and Android battle trying to beat each other down constantly, then the phones would basically be absolutely shit still. Like, I remember my first Android phone, which was the Motorola Droid. It wasn't the Droid, it's a Milestone, but the Motorola Droid, that thing was the laggiest piece of shit I've ever used in my life. But now, my phone is fucking lightning fast and has all these cool things. Basically, without innovation, without like competition, we don't really have as quick or as much innovation. So give other things a try. I know I kind of mock sometimes indie games in general because I always like, say for example on Twitter, I'll be like, oh, all we get on PlayStation fucking free games is indie shit. But without those indie people that are making those, we wouldn't really have anything different on PlayStation. Granted, a lot of them are 2D side-scrolling pieces of shit. Like, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if you give me like there's only so much you can do with it, okay? But just give other things, you know, new things a try. And you'll often find that the smaller developers or the starting up developers or the beginning developers. So, for example, I'm going to say Ivory Tower, which is, they're on their first proper game, their first release game, and you'll see a lot of the updates that went out to the game were basically asked for by the community. You know, the graphics overhaul was the massive one. Can you imagine remaking the whole graphics for that entire fucking map and the physics again for all the car? They did that, and they do it. They do the physics like constantly. They're constantly improving that game. And again, with the new expansion, I was a little bit disappointed by the new expansion, Ivory Tower, but they listened to that and they're adding more cop cars and they're adding more races and this kind of thing. It's really cool when you look at these developers that are actually listening. And then you look at the bigger ones that are kind of comfortable. Say, for example, Gran Turismo or Forza. They're in a comfortable place. They don't have to listen to us. They don't care, okay? I mean, to say they don't have to care is the point, okay? I'm not saying that they don't choose to, but they don't have to because what they're doing is working. But there gets to a point where if they keep doing the same structure over and over and over again, and I think that's why this year I've changed the channel up a little bit. I was starting at the end of last year. As I said, I want to spend a bit more time with things. And part of that reason was that I was mass producing stuff. And I was complaining about other people mass producing, as in like game developers mass producing stuff. For example, we know we're going to get a Forza Motorsport this year. I'm not particularly a massive fan of Forza Motorsport. I much prefer the Horizon series. I will still play it, but the point is, I don't think that if I go into that game, there's only so much I can make on that game. Like, I'm going to be making the same content I made on Forza Motorsport 6 and Forza Motorsport 5. There's only so much you can do. And there's only so much they can do, to be completely honest. Like, thinking about it, as the motorsport game is supposed to be more simulation-based, not full-on, but pretty damn close, it's meant to be more simulation-based. So what else can they add? They added puddles, and I complained about that. Kind of a dick move in a way, but I mean, I have full right to complain, right? That's kind of, I'm on a platform, I guess, to be able to voice my opinion, and that's my phone going off. And again, you guys in the comments can let me know what your opinions are, which I always love about this as well. Another example I want to give out is Need for Speed. And I know I love Need for Speed. A lot of people hate Need for Speed, but you will see there's a big group of passionate people. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to be commenting on this video that say you get paid to do all this, whatever. If I was paid to do it, I'd have to legally put in the description that I was paid, whatever. It's just, I understand why you say it. I understand why you say it. Like, I have said in the past, oh, this person must have been paid because they absolutely appreciate a game's all shit. and then they shit on another one. I totally get it. I totally get it. But like, I now feel like I was a dick and I deserve this in a way. But back to the point. Need for Speed, this is Ghost. This is their second game. They're working on their third game now. The first game they released, if you don't know, let me explain a little bit of a backstory behind this. I did a whole like thing on how Need for Speed Rivals was dog shit. It was awful and I hated that game. And I wanted more customization. I wanted story. I wanted all this stuff. And what did we get? What did we get? They actually listened to what we had to say and what our input was, and they went to like actual car guys and asked it for input on what they cars they would love to see on the game, that kind of thing. And I promise you, those guys are listening hard. They are listening hard, inviting people out from all over, like not just gaming related YouTubers. They're talking to, they have ties with speed hunters, which is a pretty crazy connection to have, because the amount of people that they can conversate with, it's insane. So this next game, I reckon, is going to be the dog's bollocks. Don't know why people say that. The dog's bollocks, like the dog's bollocks. Is that a good thing? It's supposed to be. Why are the dog's bollocks a good thing? Because people complain when a man scratches his bollocks. Huh? Why is that? Animalist. Are we animals? Or we're mammals? I don't fucking... But Need for Speed do listen. And you look at Forza and they're trickling things in. They're trickling things in. Trickling things in. For example, body kits, I don't necessarily think was a listen thing. I think that was more... they knew people over time were saying body kits. Then Need for Speed did it and people fucking loved it. People loved the modification stuff on Need for Speed. So they thought, well, we need to do that. That's what we want more of, okay? That's what we want more of. I want to see games push each other. Because obviously, now that Forza's adding body kits in, less so customization than Need for Speed still, but they're adding stuff in, which means they may go next level in the next game. Need for Speed have got to be on their toes to make it even better. And then Forza are going to be on their toes to make it even better. And they keep going up and up and up. That's what used to happen. That doesn't really happen anymore. And that's why I'm really excited. At the same time, another game that we should have paid more attention to and a bit more love to was Drive Club. Now, the people that loved that game fucking loved it. It was a masterpiece, right? To a lot of people. The developers have been pushed away now because the servers didn't work at launch. And that's pretty much the only reason, because after launch, it was freaking flying from there. It was doing so well. Like, it sold a decent amount, especially for a new IP, a console-exclusive new IP, but it got put down the shitter. It's like, Drive Club, I believe, is still selling, like, better than most of the, well, not most, like, not the single Forza games that came out. Because, again, the PlayStation 4 is selling more, and it was one of the only racing games that was available, so people pick it up. But they got rid of the developers, and that's the end of that. And they were doing something really cool. They were doing something like a properly socially connected racing game. But a lot of people slept on it, and, well, Sony just thought that the server issues at the start was just unacceptable, and it's kind of sad. But, again, this was more of like a ramble video, I guess. But, in the end, I just want to ask that people voice their opinion more. That's the one thing I want to get from this video. Voice your opinion more on games. Like it or dislike it. Don't just go, this is shit. Explain what you like. You'll notice that I do that. I don't go, this is shit. I just complain about the things, specific things that I don't like. Doesn't mean I hate the game overall, or there's some things I dislike on Need for Speed and the crew and Forza and everything. Most 105 has things I hate about it. That's saying something. Just voice your opinions and actually explain why you dislike those things and what you would like to see better, but also balance it and say things that you like, so that, say, devs for another game will see it and say, people are liking that, let's grab some of that and do it better. And then the developer's like, no, excuse me, we're going to do it better. And then, pff, big fight, and then progression, then story, then more cars, then more customization, then women that start the race with the checkered flag. That's what I want. Give me... I'm kidding, but that would be pretty cool. I want some people starting the race. I don't care if it's women or men. Give me a mix of both, because people will complain otherwise. You know how it fucking is. 2017. Just hit myself in the face. Amazing. Little challenge for the people that actually stuck around for the whole thing. I know a lot of people won't have, and I completely understand why, because it was kind of a long video. But what I want to ask is you write two things in the comments. Name a racing game of recent that you've played and you loved, and give us one reason why you did. Or even if you hated it, but there's one thing you loved about it. Or give us something you hate about a game. Try and give us a mix. If you see a lot of negative ones, give us a positive. If you see a lot of positive ones, give a negative. Or give both. Doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. And please, buy some other games and voice your opinions more. That's what I'm going to say. Just do it in a nice way. Don't say, your game's fucking shit, fucking cunt, wanker bastard. That's not going to help. Doesn't explain what's wrong with it. I have been Mr. Pants. And we're on 400,000 subscribers. Thank you. I'm thinking of a special. It's going to take a while. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.